Hi, I'm Untitled Diver. Welcome to another edition of my weekly blog. This week we're going to be covering Surface Marker Buoys. They come in different shapes, sizes and colours, from pink to black to red to orange to green to yellow, from sausage shapes to ball shapes to bag shapes, and we'll try and cover what each of them are for and why we'd have one over another. So looking down at a bench then, the first one we can come across is the SMB or Surface Marker Buoy. So this one stays on the surface throughout a dive. Might be used during a drift dive or when current is going to be quite a bit of a drama. You put that up so the boat that's above you knows where you are all the time from the minute you enter the water. So you can put that down as a reference point so the boat can follow you along. Also comes with a little bit of a flag. You can stick that in the top. I tend to find, because it's rolled up once, it never unrolls, so I can unravel it, but it'll just roll straight back up. But a great bit of kit nonetheless. A nice sturdy bag that it's in. You can just inflate it orally, nice and simple. It's weighted underneath so it doesn't tend to flip over, and you just tie on a line to that and attach that to yourself and just reel it off as and when. The next sort of large one we're going to look at, okay, this is quite commonly known as a lift bag, but worst case scenario can be used as your surface marker buoy should you need to. So then we're going to actually look at the delayed SMB or DSMB. There's three styles I've laid out here. So the first one we're going to cover, this one's a training SMB. So it's very small in comparison to the larger ones I've got laid out. But the idea being is if you are teaching someone on a course how to use this, every dive they do, they perhaps only get one opportunity to use it. Whereas this here, you can there's enough inflation to get it up to the surface, but it's not too buoyant that you can't pull it back down and have another and another go. So you could get several attempts on one particular dive to have a go at sending that up and obviously perfect your technique rather than just using it right at the end of your dive where perhaps you're a little tired or cold or needing the toilet or preoccupied with something else. Whereas if you're using this from scratch on a dive, spending 20 minutes sending this up and back down, and you can just pull it down quite easily, deflate it using this little pull cord here, so this will allow all the air out, okay, and then re-inflate it. For me, it's ideal in that respect as a training aid, but you have to fill it up using your secondary or your octopus. It is sealed with inside, so if it was to go the wrong way, the air won't come gushing out, but that's your only means of inflation with that. The next one we've got is a plastic unsealed surface marker buoy. So with this DSMB, there's no seal in the bottom here, so whatever air goes in, depending which direction this end's facing, can actually leak out. So it'll come out to approximately 1 metre long. It's nice bright orange colour, so will be seen. It's got a little bit of lead in this end that can be sort of moulded in order to give you the shape, but like I said, it's not sealed. The lead obviously holds that back end down, so the air will naturally migrate up to the top a lot easier. But with it not being sealed, not ideal for someone who's perhaps not used to putting them up so often. The next one we've got then is quite possibly my favourite. Roughly 1 metre long, very narrow, nicknamed a one breath DSMB. So just so you can label it, I've just got a black pen, wrote my name on it, just so when it gets in the boat you know whose it is. It's oral inflate only, so you have to push down on that in order to inflate and deflate it. So there's no overpressure valve, but you know, when you get quite accustomed to putting these up at depth, you know roughly how much air needs to go in them. I find it great because if I'm at a shallow point in my dive, say 6 metres, one breath is more than enough to fill it to the brim for once it gets to the surface. But certainly at depth, so perhaps at say 20 metres, where you'd only have to put perhaps a third in, that you know it's quite quick to inflate. It'll go up under its own steam, and once it's up there, job done. So the first one I ever bought was this one. No prize if you're guessing where I bought it. Nice and bright in colour again. Same colour on both sides. For those people who are in the water that don't know what it signifies, it's nice and neatly written on there, diver below. Okay, again I've wrote just a bit of detailing on so I know it's mine. So there's 3 ways of inflating this. So you've got the oral, by pushing down and blowing through there. You can also connect a hose to this, So as soon as you push down, the hose will just naturally inflate it. It's really quick. However, a little bit faffy perhaps as a new diver to concentrate on that. We've got a little bit of lead in the bottom here, so you can mould the shape of it again. That'll hold shape, a bit of weight to hold it down, and it is sealed within the internals of this. So you can blow, using your octopus or secondary, blow some air into there, fill it up to the required size. Should you put too much gas in, because you of whatever reason, we have an overinflation and dump valve to empty it, or you can use that to empty it as before. I think this is a much better one for in the open ocean. You can get them to almost 2 meters tall, which are ideal. The different colours, this signifies that the diver's okay, but he's on his ascent. And some of the training we've done, depending what colour DSMB you send up, or multiples of DSMBs, they can reflect different scenarios within the water. But I've seen black ones, pink ones, yellow ones, multicoloured ones, so pink on one side, yellow on the other, etc. Each to their own, really. There's no right or wrong with that. As I said, we've talked about the delayed Surface Marker Buoy, or DSMB, and then the usual Surface Marker Buoy and the lift bag. The types of deflate, whether it be through an overpressure or dump valve, oral inflate and dump valve, or using your secondary or your octopus to inflate from the bottom, and whether it's sealed or not, and having some weight in the bottom that can sometimes help newer divers to find it easier to inflate these. If you're in the open ocean and the likelihood of the waves being quite big and choppy, the bigger and brighter you have a Surface Marker Buoy, the much easier the boat will find you. Certainly, if you've got a helicopter or something, if you are properly lost at sea, the bigger and brighter you've got of one of these, the more likelihood you have got getting seen. Whereas if you're just in your local pond, you know, something like that one breath one I showed you earlier, absolutely ideal. Should you want to use it, just so your surface cover knows where you are. They'll see that for a good 100 meters or so. But and when it comes to lift bags, certainly there's laws about using these nowadays for bringing certain things up. But I find carrying that with me gives me that extra bit of comfort that if, for whatever reason, my dry suit and my wing was to fail, I've certainly got a great amount of buoyancy or lift to get me to the surface should I require it. So I'm Andy the Northern Diver. Thanks for watching again. If you'd be so kind as to like this video, maybe subscribe, watch a video or two that we've done before, and maybe I'll see you on the next one. Or see you on Insta.